welcome, Mzi Dempers. We're so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me, and lovely to meet you.
Yeah, absolutely. Where are you right now?
I'm in Palma in Spain.
Amazing. So you just got there Tuesday, is that right?
Yes, we got here on Tuesday. We left Miami, I think, on like the 21st of April. It was meant to be like a 15-day crossing, but it turned into, almost a month.
It sounds like the crossings as of late have all taken longer than expected. I don't know if it's like weather or what's going on, but
Yeah, very much so weather. I mean, because our first little leg from Miami to Bermuda was, I think, 3 days. And then we had to spend 10 days in Bermuda to wait for the weather to pass. So it's just delayed everything.
awesome. So how long are you going to be in Palma?
We are in Palma until Saturday. And then our boss comes on Saturday. And then I think around Palma, then to Italy. Then we end up in France. And then we back-to-back charters for the summer.
Amazing. So that's a fun med summer you've got for, I mean, what's that?
It's
3 months?
Yeah, so it takes us roughly to like the end of August, beginning of September.
Awesome.
Very, very excited. Absolutely love the Med. I think it's probably one of my favorite places.
Have you mainly done yachting in the Med? Have you done yachting anywhere else?
So I mean, obviously for me, it really sort of started with below deck in the Med, and then after that, well, last year I started off in America for the first time. So we're down in Florida, then did Bahamas, and then did winter in the Caribbean.
Uh-huh.
That was really, really cool. Love the island life. Big fan of maybe becoming a little island boy at some stage. But
Absolutely.
I think the Med. I prefer the Med.
Awesome. So I know a lot of people from South Africa seem to get into yachting. It seems like everyone that's like a main export is yachties these days. How did you get tied into it in the first place?
I think what's really attractive for South Africans is sort of the opportunity to earn a foreign currency. And then once you convert that back into rands, so I mean, like the dollar to rand is like, for $1 it's 19 rand. So almost timesing the money by 20. That's super, super attractive. And then also just like there's a bit of a tax-free incentive majority of the time. I think if you play your cards right. But then for me, I think it's just been my brothers. My brothers have been in the industry for ages, and just like seeing the places that they've been to and hearing the stories, it's just like, okay, cool. This sounds like an interesting career choice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Are they in the Med right now as well?
No, they are actually in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, their boat does. They go to such cool places. Like they've been to Tahiti recently, Fiji, then Australia. I'm not too sure where they're going next, but it's somewhere like where your normal yachts don't necessarily go.
So how did you get into the below deck world? You know, how'd you get pulled into that whole chaotic craziness of excitement?
um, I think because I tried to get into yachting in like 2017, and then I couldn't really get a visa, so I just stuck around at home. But I was on sort of like all the Facebook groups looking for like work, because that's generally what people do. You join Facebook groups where people post about like available jobs and things like that. And then the casting company had reached out on I think it was Instagram or something like that, being like, hey, do you want to apply? And I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So I just went for it and applied then. And I hadn't actually seen the show before. So I watched a couple episodes with my parents. And I was like, oh, is this what I signed up for?
Did that make you more or less interested to go on the show?
I think it made me a lot more nervous.
Yeah.
Very, very much so. I think just everything being a lot more heightened and just like the drama, and yeah, it just made me a lot more nervous.
I feel like for your first season, most fans know you as, you know, you came in as a green deckhand with your notepad, you were ready to take notes and learn. And, you know, I think you probably lucked out on one of, at least my favorite season is season 6 of Below Deck Med. And it's because all of y'all seemed to just immediately click, well, except for, you know, one
You
or
know
two
who.
bad eggs. But that y'all really had this like wonderful camaraderie and group and mentorship. I can't imagine can't imagine a better yacht to kick things off on.
No, exactly. Like it is completely the opposite of sort of what I was expecting. Because like I think watching the previous seasons, you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a lot. Like this is going to be quite intense and scary. But the group of people was so amazing and like really genuine. And I think that that's really difficult to find within yachting in general. Like I mean, not just on the show. I think any boat that you sort of join, it's like going into any kind of workplace where there's always going to be that person or those people that are going to just grind your gears and make life quite horrible. But yeah, we're super fortunate with the crew that we had.
For sure. And I think, as far as like Lexi or someone like that, they kind of just spin off into their own chaos and then you don't have to worry about them. But I feel like you have continued these friendships long after the show too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, so I was chatting to Katie and Malia because obviously they work together now. And we're just like, okay, cool. We need to do something in the mid. Like, cool, let's get a villa. Let's have a cool party. Like, let's have a lot of fun. And then also chatting to Quartz the other day, being like, you need to come visit. So everyone's still relatively close, I'd say, and we do keep tabs on each other all the time. And I think just from the show that doesn't happen too often. Like people just go their separate ways, and it's like, oh, don't really check in with each other at all.
Absolutely. Usually the goodbyes are, one or two couples who are, heartbroken to leave each other, and then everyone else is ready to move on to something new.
Yeah, and couples that last for a couple of weeks.
What was it like, the shift going from that crew that was all very, very tight knit, going to a new season where there was a whole lot more turnover and drama within the crew?
Yeah, the season 7 was a very different experience, just because I don't know. You sort of, for me, I personally set like season 6 on like a pedestal. So I was like, this was so incredible. Had such a good time. And then you're just basically comparing everything the whole time. So like anything that you're doing, you're comparing it to what you've done previously. And you're like, this not really the same, not the same kind of vibe. Um, still like amazing people. Like obviously working with Storm, was very close with Storm, still am, and still chat to a lot of the people, but it just wasn't quite the same, like as a whole, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there were a couple different groups. And even
Yeah.
Storm was a little lost in the sauce with Natalia too.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Storm has a big heart and he loves hard. That's
so with that, how did you meet Storm? How long have y'all known each other?
I've known Storm since I was 13
Oh wow.
because we both used to play water polo when we were younger, and then we did like an inter-provincial tournament. So it's like provinces are, I guess, states, like what you'd have in America. And then we had like a national tournament where we'd all just play against each other. And Storm was the hairy 13-year-old that everyone was petrified of.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to facial hair in the Bravo world right now, like his facial hair is like he's just a burly, like hairier fellow. And then you have like the villains over here, like Tom Sandoval, who are just like avoid that mustache at all costs,
Exactly.
But can't keep it on his head, I guess. That's how that works, I
I
suppose.
think he thinks his head makes him streamline or something of that sort. And now he's a big cyclist too, so I can literally just picture him with his head down, going at it hard.
So a cyclist, and y'all played water polo. I don't think I've ever even seen water polo before. Is that big in South Africa?
Yes, it's huge. It's not as big as rugby, but um it's one of the like, yeah, it's a very watched sport. And I think like when you're at school, you just want to be playing things where there's going to be a big crowd and you can be like, have that kind of amazing energy. So there's a lot of support for water polo, so it is fairly big for us. But I
Absolutely.
mean, our national team is horrible. Like when I was 18, going on tour to Europe, we were playing against the under-13 Hungarian girls team, and we got beaten. So different standards, but it's big for us.
That's really cool. Yeah, any sport that gets all the crowd and all the excitement. I was a cheerleader back in the day in college, and it's the football games and everything in the U.S. are so big.
Yeah.
Just anything that draws the crowd is always going to be the big sport. But that's really fun. And you also like golf, is that right?
Yes, absolutely love golf. I think that's, if I could do anything else in the world, it would probably be a professional golfer.
That would be an epic career, I think. And I've got to think that you've probably golfed in some of the coolest locations around the world for sure.
Yeah, like recently, I mean, in Bermuda, like I never really knew Bermuda was a place that people could visit. I just always thought like Bermuda Triangle, I'm going missing, happening here. And then when we got there, I was completely blown away. Like it's a really cool small little island with I think 5 different golf courses. The one that we played at twice was a PGA course, so incredibly beautiful. And then also just like in the Caribbean, because you're just surrounded by like the ocean, so your views are absolutely incredible. So yeah, I think like I'm gonna start making a bucket list of golf courses that I need to play at before I die.
Absolutely. My family's big into golf, and I got to go see the Masters in Augusta, the practice round this year, and I didn't know a thing about golf, but I left there with all the swag, all the gear.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was world's number one golf fan.
Kind of thing. That's awesome.
It's if you're gonna put that on your golf bucket list, that event has to be top tier right there.
Yeah, like I mean, someone said to me, we made a joke about it the other day. It was like, so obviously Tiger Woods. Yep.
Yes.
Would you rather play a game of golf with Tiger Woods at your home course or play a game of golf at Augusta? And I was like, no, I'd rather play with Tiger Woods. He's such an icon.
Yeah, he really is. And he's like a good redemption story too.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've been yachting in both the Caribbean and the Med. Are there any interests in you checking out some of kind of the other yachting locations, whether it be in the land down under or, up north around like Norway, Finland, or you love the Med?
No, I think I'm very, very open to sort of like seeing different areas. Just I think like one of the big benefits of being involved in yachting is getting to experience different cultures and sort of like opening up your mind quite a lot. So that's really something that I wanna do. But just at the moment, busy charter boats are chartering in the Med Caribbean. So I think to save up quite a lot of money, that's the way I'll go for now. But I think towards the end of yachting, I'd love to go around a lot more.
Absolutely. I think probably the Mediterranean and down under just have to be some of the coolest locations. I think when I think of going on a yacht, I picture going somewhere sunny too. So when they show the yachts in like Norway or Finland or wherever Below Deck Adventure is, I'm like, I think I'm good. I don't want to be on a boat if it's cold. That just sounds terrible.
No, fair enough. I think that's one of the best parts is like having that summer life all year round.
So I asked on Instagram yesterday, any of our followers, if they had questions for you. And some of them were good questions. Some of them were not good questions. So someone asked if you would rank everyone on your crew from dumbest to smartest. And I was like, probably don't want to do that. But a lot of people want to know what's next for you and if they'll ever see you on a TV screen sometime soon or in the future.
Will you see me on the TV screen?
Yes.
I would hope so. I would absolutely love to do another season. Really did enjoy it. Have met such amazing people, and the production crew too are just awesome. So, if I was asked to go back, I most certainly would. And then at the moment, just focusing on trying to sort of like take the next step in my career. So recently just done my yacht masters, and then yeah, just trying to get my bosun's role, and then from there just do my next set of courses. It's quite a long journey that you have to go through to get to the top or the next step. So just sort of going through those paces at the moment, and trying to work on yeah, getting to bosun's level.
That was the other few questions, as everyone was wanting to know where you're at right now and getting into that lead deckhand bosun territory. And there are a lot of certifications and
Yeah,
courses you have to go through. And yeah, there's a lot more to it than what they
yeah, it's
show
not.
on TV,
I
where they
think
just
that's the
hand you
thing.
another thing for your epaulette.
Another little stripe for your epaulets. Yeah, I think that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand the process of actually trying to get to the next steps. Like for me, I would never feel comfortable standing in a bosun's role and not actually knowing what it is that I'm trying to tell other people to do. Like that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that's why like doing the yacht masters has put like a lot of things into perspective, and the experiences that I've had now are definitely super beneficial. So I think I'm almost there. Almost there. Hopefully a promotion soon on my boats, and yeah, we'll just keep on going at it.
That's exciting. Well, obviously, you can tell everybody is cheering for you. That was the majority of questions. What's so different about below deck that people see versus what it's like in a normal yachting experience? Or do they do a formal, tip ceremony at the end like they show on TV?
Yeah, so I mean, like at the end of our charters, we have a quick meeting. Not like a big tips meeting, but it's just like, okay, cool, this is what happened in the charter, this is what we can work on, and then we will speak about the tips that we got. We don't get cash in real we don't get given cash, it gets transferred into our accounts. And then yeah, we have a big drop off day. So the same kind of vibe that we'd have on below deck. We have quite a party, just depending as to like our turnaround time. And then I would say like often at times I find normal yachting a lot more. It can be a lot more dramatic than what it is on below deck. But I guess like below deck's all just filmed, and like I think at times a lot of people on the show will be a lot more contained because obviously there's cameras around and whatnot. But when you're just on a boat, it's a bit of a free for all, so it can get a lot more intense. And I think below deck just sort of highlights the drama aspects, if that makes sense. Not necessarily highlights it, but like that's a big part of the show.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I
That
think
makes sense.
yeah, normal yachting has a fair share of drama. Yeah, yachties are wild. Yachties
Well,
are
for
wild.
sure, because if they know that there are cameras everywhere, then you'd think they would, when you do see something crazy happen or someone says something crazy, especially if they're not drunk. I totally get once they are drunk, it's easy to like just be more dramatic and lower your inhibitions. But sometimes they'll say something crazy, completely sober when they're working. And you're like, okay, that means she's crazy because she knew the camera had her saying that and she didn't care.
And she still went for it. Whoa.
Yes.
Exactly.
Was it a weird transition to get used to cameras, or because that was your first yachting experience, are you just kind of used to it?
No, definitely quite a like, so you never, like in your normal day-to-day life, you never have cameras around you, so very strange for the first couple of days. But then I think you get a bit used to it, but then it still does always like come at some stage like, oh fuck, there's cameras around, or like they're actually videoing what I'm doing, shit. So it does, I think throughout the season, always just like, okay, well. And even like I remember when we left season 6 and we went to Split, we were all chatting and then like everyone was like, oh guys, like we're not mic'd, it's fine. Just say whatever it is that you want to say, blurt it out. kind of thing. So then you do get used to it and start to sort of forget, but it does always stick with you.
Well, I'm excited to hear about kind of what you're on the path towards with getting your, bosun certifications, going through your courses. What's next for you after this charter season?
After this charter season, I will be on holiday, September, October time. So I think I'm gonna go to Bali for a bit, go to Mexico, and then go back home. 'Cause it's gonna be summertime back at home, and I absolutely love being back at home. So I think I'll spend the majority of my time back at home, doing some more courses. Courses take up a large proportion of the holidays these days. And then then we're coming back to Florida in end of October, back to Florida for 2 months, and then Central America for the winter. So yeah,
Awesome.
looking very, very forward to that.
I feel like you're kind of the way you're going is you are just getting all the warm seasons wherever you go. You're just going to keep
Exactly.
traveling to wherever it's warm.
I just want to live in the summer. I don't deal well with the cold.
I feel you. I feel you. Well, thank you so much for taking time to chat with me. I'm so excited to follow along with your journey. We're hoping to see you sometime soon as a lead deckhand or bosun. Ideally, we'd love to see it on Bravo, but I guess we'll just let the powers that be decide that, right?
Amazing.
And we wish you all the best, and we appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so lovely to meet you. And yeah, we'll catch up soon.